Good morning and welcome back to my channel. We're going to start the vlog today by going straight to the drawer for the clothing, the Easter outfit. And I'm going to do that because I know what I'm like. I gab, and then I can run out of time at the end. So if I leave it till the end, I could well run out of time. So Joe's uploaded last week's video. He's put it on a random comment picker and he will do it on screen. So can you pick the winner for us, Joe?
Yes.
The winner is going to get clothing, an outfit or whatever, but Joe will pick the winner. Good luck, everybody.
Make sure it's focused, yeah. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Winner is Laura Andrews.
Laura's comment.
Hi Jane, I love your videos which inspired me to join Slimming World. Joe is very lucky to have you as a mum and you are so interesting and you have such a calm, gentle manner. I have trigeminal neuralgia too. I was diagnosed very young and managed with medication just on onset of attacks, as I hate the drugs you get prescribed. I feel your pain and frustration and my NutriBullet is my best friend when I can't chew. I am size 14 and my favourite colour is pink, but I wear mainly black or dark plain clothes. Now that I have thought about that, I need to wear more colour. Smiley face.
Well, Laura, Joe and I are going to have great fun this week because, as I've said on my videos before, I give myself £7 a week for staying at Target, £1 a day. I've just drawn, I'll spread it out, £100 out of my Slimming World money, and this is for Laura's clothing. So this week, Joe, when you're free, we're going to go into town and we're going to buy some clothing items for Laura. We'll show them on next week's video, and if Laura, congratulations for winning, would like to drop me an email on Janiac, which is JANIAC 7 at googlemail.com with your address. After we've shown the clothing on next week's video, it'll be in the post for you in time for Easter. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for your comment. I'm glad somebody understands the trigeminal neuralgia because it's weird to live with, and I'm sure I don't have a severe case. I don't have the problem that some people have, but it is a very strange sensation in your face. Right, yeah, thank you for everybody who had a go. I'll just put the money back down there. But thank you for everybody who had a go. It's going to be fun because Joe and I like clothes shopping, don't we, Joe?
You do.
Well, I like clothes shopping. He's very good at picking things for me. You picked the top I'm wearing today. So, yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Well done, Laura. And thank you to everybody else. I talk a bit about my week. I had a dental appointment this week on Monday. Well, we both did. It was just 6 monthly checkups. We go every 6 months. It's just become a habit. But the one thing I wanted to share with you, which I find really good for me, is that since I started using a sonic toothbrush 6 years ago, I have never needed to have my teeth cleaned. Now, I have no problem going to the dentist. We have a really lovely dentist called Mel, and I have no problem going. He's always lovely. But the one thing I didn't like was actually having to have my teeth descaled. And our dentist suggested sonic toothbrushes. And Joe had a lot of orthodontic treatment, you know, like when you're young and you go through all these braces and having your teeth straightened and everything. So you're definitely in a situation after that where you want to look after your teeth. And I wish I'd looked after my teeth when I was a lot younger, if I'm honest. But actually having a sonic toothbrush has made such a difference because now I don't have to face having my teeth cleaned at the dentist, which was the one thing I used to dread when I had to go to the dentist. Don't mind them having a look, I don't mind filling if I need a filling, anything like that. But I did not like having my teeth cleaned, and it was the after effect, how they leave your teeth feeling afterwards. So yeah, if anybody finds they have a problem with plaque and you want to overcome it, try a sonic toothbrush. You can get them on Amazon from like, I don't know, 30 quid upwards. We use Philips Sonicare, but that's not advertising, just sharing with you what we use. We bought ours ourselves, so yeah, that's a recommendation really. Try a sonic toothbrush if you need that sort of dental care. Right. What was my next heading? I was talking about getting in my own way, being my own enemy this week. Yeah?
Yeah, sorry. My phone's
Can you get it up on your phone? I've sent Joe some headers.
Ruining your own week.
Ruining my own week. It's been not an unpleasant week, not a difficult week. We've got some stuff going off at the moment, so the next 3 weeks are going to be quite difficult, and then following that, a good number of weeks are going to be hard for Jo. But as a mum, I think it's fair to say for most of us as parents, if you could go through something for your kid, you'd do it, you'd take it on yourself. And sometimes with me, it's not what I'm facing in my life that actually causes to bring me down and give me difficulties. It's what somebody close to me is facing and I'm feeling powerless over. And it's that feeling when I am a control freak. I love to be in control. I love to organise and I love to arrange and I love that kind of, when I was working, I loved having that kind of job where you get to organise and achieve and arrange. But when you're in a position where things are going off in your family or with people close to you, like Joe's got these health things going on and got to face surgery and stuff, and you can't do anything about it leaves me with this like hole inside me. And I used to fill that hole with food. One of my friends who's a Christian would call it a God-shaped hole, and he'd say to me, you should be filling that hole with God and prayer and all that. And I can do that to a certain extent, but I'm not very strong in that area. I fall down. So I'm used to like filling it with food. That's what I did for 50 years. And this week I've been neither here nor there, as my mum would say. I've not known whether I wanted to eat, whether I didn't want to eat. I've just been in a mess. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've skipped 2 meals. Well, I skipped 1 meal at tea time because I wasn't hungry. The other meal, when I say I skipped it, I didn't skip a meal. I had a jacket potato. That is not Slimming World. That is not food optimising. I didn't even bother putting the beans and cheese on because that's not food optimising either. When I'm out with my friends, and sometimes these friends who do Slimming World too, and they'll say to me, well, there's nothing else, but you can always have jacket potato with beans and cheese. You can if you want to, if you like it and you enjoy it, but it's not food optimising, and I tend not to go that way. So it's been a really strange week. Funny things have happened that have been irrelevant in a lot of ways, but have felt really relevant. And some of this happened this week, and some happened last week. And when I look back at what I've been doing behaviour-wise, the biggest thing I've failed in is I haven't been keeping a food diary for the last 2 weeks. Now, I've been in Slimming World coming up will be 4 years next month, and some people might say you don't need to keep a food diary. They might not need to, I do. If I don't write it down, I'm not owning it, I'm not in control of it, it's not real. It's not real to me. And I just stopped doing it. And I don't know why I stopped doing it. It's been a fortnight. And in my head, my food has felt all over the place. The first week felt reasonable. I felt like I was on plan. And I was. And did I gain a pound last week? I think, yeah, that was fine. That was okay in target. This week, I felt as if all my food was kind of disjointed. It was on plan most of the time, but there were times, like I say, I skipped a meal. I never skip meals. I do 3 meals a day, nothing in between. But I skipped a meal just because I wasn't hungry and I couldn't be bothered. And then on the other occasion, which was yesterday lunchtime, I had a jacket potato, just a jacket potato. Couldn't be bothered to do anything else, just threw a McCain jacket potato in the microwave, called it lunch. It's not lunch, Jane. Doesn't work like that. Subsequently, I found myself at probably 10 o'clock last night, sitting in bed with bread and cheese. Why? Even I don't know the answer to that one. I don't do bread. Bread is a massive trigger food to me. So I tend not to eat bread. Only because 1 slice is never enough. You can have 1 slice on a healthy extra. You can kid yourself and have 2 little slices because it kind of looks more. But that doesn't work for me because I only function on the 1 loaf principle. I can't do a slice of bread. And as Joe always says to me, what use is a slice of bread? It doesn't even make a sandwich, Mum. Just don't go there. We were debating that this week as well because Joe has to have gluten-free, so he has the ciabattas, and they are tiny. I mean, like, that's your B choice for the day. I'd rather not go there. But last night, I found myself sitting in bed at 10 o'clock eating hardo bread, which is, I think, Caribbean bread. And I put cheese with it, and I want a thin spread of Philadelphia Light, which is something I don't usually have. I don't eat that. And I put hard goat's cheese on it, which is something I do usually have as a healthy extra A, but I had probably the equivalent of 3 healthy extra A's. And why? Because I was feeling this hole inside me. And instead of filling it with what I used to fill it with, which was like using this whole Slimming World thing as a project, I call it Project Jane, this is what I need to do. What I need to do is working for me. I've lost 13 stone 2 pounds. I've kept the weight off for 3 years and 4 months. I used to be this big fat, and I use the word fat because I'm talking about me, and I was fat. I used to be this big fat lady with a thin person trying to burst out, and that thin person took years and years and years to like quarry their way out. And now, all week, I felt like a small person with a big person wanted to burst out. And I'm laughing about it, but it hasn't been funny because the feelings it's brought up in me this week have come out of the strangest things. A couple of weeks ago when I was in Whistles, and I spoke about it last week at the jumper I had on last week, and I bought some other stuff while I was in there, but trying clothes on in Whistles, and Joe spotted a white t-shirt that he thought I'd like, and the young lady who was serving us said, "You need extra small." And I said, "Oh no, I think let's try small." Well, she didn't try small, unbeknown to me. She passed me the extra small and I put it on and it fit perfectly. And I said to her, I find this so hard to get my head around because I used to be so big. And she said, "What do you mean by big?" And I said, "Well, I used to be a size 26 verging on a 28. And she was like, "Oh my God, but you're like a stick now." Now, that's a compliment, and she meant it as a compliment. She said it very nicely, didn't she, Joe?
Yeah.
She said it kindly. But it brought up all sorts of stuff in me for the simple reason that when I met my husband in 1986, my husband is like 6'4", so he's up here. He's really tall. And when I first met him, he weighed probably 10 and a half stone. And my husband's name is Richard, and most of his friends call him Dick. Well, did. We tend to call him Richard now, but back in the day, a lot of his family called him Dick. And because I didn't like the word Dick, I called him Stick, because he was this like 6'4", really tall, really slim guy. And well, now I'm using the word slim there. What I mean is thin. He was a really tall, really thin guy. He was like, 30 waist, 38 chest, and as I say, about 6'4", 6'4" and a half. So Stick, you look like, she says, "You're like a stick now." That made me think, don't know. I don't know if I like people judging me and saying I'm like a stick. I don't mind people saying I'm slim. I don't even mind people saying I'm thin. But it was that word stick. That's stuck in my head for over 2 weeks, and I need to let it go. That's why I'm sharing it here. Sharing it, letting it go. When we were in Mark's a week ago, and I was taking back some jeans that I'd ordered that then decided I didn't like. And I said to Joe, "Can't be bothered to go upstairs to the top floor, stand in the long queue to get my money back. Look round, if you can see something you think I'll like, that I can exchange it for, maybe even pay a bit extra or whatever," because the jeans were $19.50. "If you can see something you think I'll wear, or something Grandma would wear, I'll just go and exchange it down here and we can get out quickly." And Joe looked around and he saw this top. And this was £25. So he said, "Oh, there's a top over there." And he knows how much I like navy and white, and he knows how much I like stripes. And he said, "I think it'll suit you." So we went across to look at it, and I felt it, and I said, feeling the one at the front, "What size is this?" And he said, "Oh, that's, I think it was a 14 or something." I said, "Oh, put me a 12 to the front." So he put a 12 to the front of the rack, so I feel that, and I went, "Oh, I don't know, that feels like it," because I go on how things feel, because I can't see them. "That feels like it'd be too big." So he then went through the rack and he put a 10 to the front. That's what I'm wearing. And when I show you, look, I've got so much space, that 10's fine, yeah, so I'll have that. And I said to him, just out of curiosity, what size does this top go up to? And he looked to the back of the rack and he said, there's a 24 at the back. So I took the 24, brought it to the front, and I'm thinking, this is me thinking in my head at the time, let's compare where I used to be to where I am now, okay? It seems a rational thing to do. You've seen people do that thing where they take a pair of their sort of size 26 trousers and they stand in one leg and they put somebody else in the other leg. I thought I'd like to do that. I don't think I would anymore. So I put this 24 top to the front and then I put the 10 on top of it and I felt it. And I felt how the size 24 hung. And I'm not knocking anybody who's a size 24. I was a size 24, 26 for donkey's years. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're happy being there. And I wasn't. So that's why I ended up doing something about it. It took me a long, long time though. 40 years. It's all out the wilderness in 40 years. Anyway, and I actually stood there and I felt the difference. And I wanted to cry. Not because I was proud of myself and where I'd got to, but because holding this size 24 like that took me right back to where I started this journey. And it actually shook me rigid. And again this week, I've had all those emotions just going round and round inside this hole, like a if you visualise it like a washing machine inside my body, just going round and round in this hole. I've not been eating as well as I usually do, although 90% of my meals have been on plan. I've been playing in my mind all week with something I said last week on my video, which I now don't believe, so I'm going to say it again in a different way. I've said on here loads of times I watched Nikki Ryan. I have the greatest respect for her. Watched a lovely video earlier in the week of her starting to wean, well, listened to it, didn't watch it, her starting to wean her twins, and it was delightful. I love her Slimming World stuff that comes up. I don't tend to watch her clothing hauls because they're too visual for me, but I love her Slimming World stuff that comes up. Nikki says there's no such thing as off plan, on plan, there's only plan. I tried to take that on board, right? But if I'm honest, standing here today and have to take back what I said last week, I don't believe it. I honestly don't believe it. For me. If I tell myself, which I've been telling myself all this week, there's no such thing as being off plan. It's okay. You can have that piece of, what was it, the Cadbury's chocolate log roll cake thing? I had one slice of it, the rest went in the bin, for the simple reason that I shouldn't have been going there. I shouldn't have been eating it. Because it just makes me want to behave the way I used to behave, and that's the way that got me up to 22 stone. And I've been doing that all week. I've been having bits of things I had no business eating. And it's not the end result, because I'm going to share my results with you in a minute. It's not about the end result, it's about the feelings it's brought up in me all week. The fact that by yesterday I absolutely hated myself and the way I was behaving. Well, so much so, on Thursday night I hated myself and the way I was behaving. And I said to Joe, this stops. I've got to draw a line, I've got to stop this. When I realised on Friday I couldn't draw a line and I couldn't stop it, and that's what then made me have just a jacket potato for my lunch. That's what made me skip a meal earlier in the week. That's what made me feel like shit last night about myself. Joe was out and I was sitting around just thinking, you are a failure. You've really messed it up this week. A lot of that's in here, but a lot of it this week was in behaviour that wasn't appropriate. Then my head went to thinking, you need to cut down to 5 sins, you need to go back to 1 healthy extra A, you need to do this, you need to... And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't do this, I'm going to fail, I can't do this. Then I end up, when Joe comes in at 10 o'clock at night saying, can you make me some bread and cheese? And I'm sitting in bed, and I don't eat in bed. That's one of my rules, I don't eat in bed because it's something I used to do. I used to keep getting up in the night and getting food. So I've gone back to a place where I don't do that. By last night, I frightened myself, thinking, whilst thoroughly enjoying the bread and cheese, I've never had this Caribbean bread before, and it was lovely. Whilst thoroughly enjoying that, thinking to myself, you see, you are a failure. you see, you are throwing it away. Knowing that if I carried on doing what I've done this week, I'm on the road to nowhere. I'm going the wrong way again. And I said to Joe when I got up this morning, I want everything out of this house that I shouldn't be eating. That isn't like food that he eats, proper food that he eats is his business. Joe, no, that's fine, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
His proper food I will not touch. That's not my food. We've got 2 fridges, we've got whatever, separate stuff. We keep, there's no crossover in our food. Joe eats the way he eats on plan. I eat the way I eat on plan. And I wouldn't dream of going into his fridge and taking his food and whatever. That doesn't come into it. But when there's food in the house that is there for other people, visitors and whatever, friends that stay and whatever, anything like that, or that is food that Joe doesn't just bring into the house and, like say there was the chocolate cake I'm talking about. Joe bought that cake, but he bought it knowing that I would like it. And I had a lovely Mother's Day, which was off plan, but that was fine. It was planned to be off plan. It wasn't flexi-sin, because I'll never do flexi-sin again, because I don't get my head around it properly. I hear people say you can have 33 extra sins. I don't know where that's written. I can't find that anywhere. I've talked to my consultant about it. She says allow yourself up to 50 sins or whatever you know you're going to need and count backwards. And I'm just left there scratching my head thinking, I'm in a restaurant. I order venison or veal or fish or whatever. How the hell do I sin it? I haven't got a clue. I'm better off just saying it's one meal off plan and don't make such a big deal about it. I do all these things. So on Mother's Day, Joe bought me a cake, which was fine. I was happy with that. And it was a cake I used to eat 25 years ago. And it used to be my favourite cake. Joe bought it me, and my intention was to have a slice of this cake. Right? I can do that. I actually had one bite and didn't like it. So the whole cake went in the bin, didn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it was awful.
Well, you had one bite as well, and you didn't like it.
Well.
And it's a cake called a Cadbury Swiss Gâteau. 25 years ago, I used to have one of those every week, and I used to eat the whole cake. Again, that's how I got to 22 stone. Now, I literally could not eat one mouthful of it. It was too sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just disgusting. And I said to Joe, what I should have had was this Cadbury's chocolate log thing. So later in the week, Joe bought that. It was in the cupboard. I was going to have one slice, which I did. I had one slice. But Joe doesn't eat the rest of it because he doesn't tend to eat stuff like that. And it sat there, and I'm thinking when somebody comes around, they can eat cake or, take it to Richard's, whatever. And it just sat there screaming at me, eat me, eat me, eat me, eat the whole cake. And I didn't want to eat it. So I'm having this battle of wills with an inanimate object. I think that's the right term. Eat me, don't want you. Eat me, don't want you. And in the end, it went in the bin. And I don't want to keep coming on here and talking about throwing food away because I don't want more criticism for doing it. But it's been such a weird week. Now, I know why. I know it's because a lot of the stuff that's going on in our lives. But I don't want to be an emotional eater. And I don't think I am necessarily an emotional eater anymore. I think I've just taken my eye off the ball. And I think I am too influenced by watching social media. That's my choice. That's not relevant for what anybody else puts out there. Everybody has a right to put out what they like. It's my choice what I watch. I've been watching people that I've never watched before, some of them really, really interesting. But watching people telling me things that I know don't work for me, but being in a vulnerable state this week thinking, well, perhaps it will work if I do it this time. Perhaps you do lose more weight. Because I keep hearing this phrase, the more you eat, the more you lose. I don't believe that, never have done. But I've heard it so many times and I keep thinking, well, maybe I do need to eat more. And I'm starting to pick up other people's stuff. I'm like a sponge. I'm starting to pick up other people's ideas that after all my 4 years of experience on Slimming World, I know don't work for me. One of them was something I said last week about I need to drink more. For goodness sake, Jane, I've lost 13 stone, 2 pounds by drinking the way I drink. I don't believe in this magic theory of the more water you drink, the more weight you lose. I think we need to be appropriately hydrated, and that's what I am. So what I'm going to do going forward this week is lay down trying to be somebody else, carry on being me.
I'm sorry, you're at 25 minutes.
Okay, and hopefully getting the results I deserve. I've been to group this morning. We had a standing leader because our leader, our consultant Naomi, is at head office this weekend on the training weekend, because although she's been a consultant 8 years, she does every bit of training applicable, and she's really on the ball. One bit of group news this morning is the Slimming World not jacket potatoes, chips are going very shortly. They'll be back in the autumn, and the reasoning behind that is because Slimming World think we need some bigger potatoes. A lot of criticism about the little bitty bits in them, and apparently they're putting it down to a poor crop of potatoes. I had to laugh. Why write chunky chips on something that's all little bits? Anyway, hopefully they're coming back in the autumn with bigger potatoes. So I don't think they'll taste any better, but they'll be chunkier. Yeah, sat with a lovely new lady at group this morning. Had a great meeting. I think I've covered everything I want to say. Have I, Joe? Just have a quick look at my list in case I've missed something, and I'll give my results. I actually went in this morning, stood on the scales, and lost ½ pound. That's an okay result. I'm really comfortable with that. Has me £1 under target? No, £2. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm, yeah, £1 under target. I'm 125 pounds, so 8 stone 13. On the first weigh-in last month, I was 8 stone 12. So in the month of March, which was 5 weigh-ins, I've gained £1. That's a really good place to be as a target member. I'm £1 under my actual target, plenty of leeway. But this week hasn't been so much about the weigh-in result as about the behaviour. I felt this week that every day I played with fire. And I've come out of it, fortunately, not too burnt and scorched, but I felt every day this week that I was rapidly moving back towards my old behaviour. I'm not going to list what I ate. Sorry, that's my mobile. I'm not going to list what I ate because I don't believe that's appropriate. But safe to say, it might catch up with me next week. And if it does, I take it on the chin. So, have I missed anything that I meant to say?
No.
Right, bit of a ramble. Sorry about that. I needed to get it out of my system. I'm grateful to be on this plan. I'm grateful that I've got something to fall back on. I'm grateful that today I am back on plan. I am going to keep a food diary. I am 100% on plan. And when I'm not 100% on plan, I am off plan. I'm not flexing it. So forgive me for what I said last week. Since I've had time to actually put it into practice, in my head, I need to know I am on plan. Sorry about that. I am a black or white person. I don't do shades of grey. And the only way I can handle this and comfortably stay at target, not by the skin of my teeth, is to say I'm 100% on plan, because it works if I work it and it won't work if I don't. So thanks everybody. Congratulations to Laura. And as I say, drop me an email, we'll sort it. And Joe and I will look forward to going shopping this week. Take care everybody, we'll see you next Saturday. Bye.